Hello, Devaki ma'am. Shall we start with the session, ma'am? There are 70 people almost.
Yeah, Sachin, you can start now. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Yeah.
So, we'll begin today's online lecture session with the welcome note by Prithvi Hegde.
A warm good afternoon to one and all. I am Prithvi Hegde of 5th semester, Integrated MSc in Molecular Biology. We have gathered here this afternoon for a very special lecture, Ayurveda, a strengthening key to lower sepsis and antibiotic resistance, a webinar to mark the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. Every year, the World Health Organization observes World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, which aims to increase the awareness of global antimicrobial resistance and to encourage best practices among the general public, health workers, and policymakers to stop the further emergence and spread of drug-resistant infections. It is observed annually from 18th to 24th November. The slogan for 2020 will be Antimicrobials Handled with Care, applicable to all the sectors. The theme for the human health sector for World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020 is United to Preserve Antimicrobials. Before we begin, I would like to provide a few instructions to help us in the smooth conduct of the event. I request you all to kindly mute your microphones and turn off your videos to avoid any sort of disturbances. If you have any doubt or questions at any point of this lecture, kindly put the same in the chat box. All the questions will be addressed in a separate Q&A session at the end of the lecture. I also request every one of you to stay till the end of the lecture, as the link for e-certificate will be provided in the chat box at the end of the session. Thank you all in advance for your support. It is both my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this special event. This lecture is important on so many levels, considering the recent developments in healthcare. Most of us are not entirely aware of the fact that antimicrobial resistance, in short AMR, is an increasingly serious threat to global public health that requires action across all government sectors and society. AMR threatens the effective prevention and treatment of an ever-increasing range of infections caused by bacteria, parasites, viruses, and fungi, further compromising the success of major surgeries, cancer therapy, etc., due to ineffective antibiotics. And most of the times, the research in awareness about AMR is in perspective of modern medicine and is not related to our ancient Indian knowledge of herbs and health, which is Ayurveda. This lecture will help us know the answer to several questions like, does Ayurveda have solutions to the 21st century medicine problems like sepsis and AMR? And about what Ayurveda has to say about AMR and antibiotics. And does the herbal antibacterial medicines also cause AMR? I am sure this lecture is going to provide us great insights and fresh perspectives for the fight against AMR. It is our honor to have Vaidya.Professor Shantala Priyadrshini, retired professor and head of Government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysuru, as our guest speaker this afternoon. I wholeheartedly welcome her on behalf of the club. It is with utmost pleasure I welcome Dr. N.S. Devaki, Course Coordinator and Head, Department of Molecular Biology, Yuvaraja College, Mysuru. I extend a warm welcome to all the senior professors and scientists for being here and supporting this humble event despite their busy schedule. Your presence means a lot to us and inspires us to organize more and more of such events. It is my duty and pleasure to welcome all the participants. We are elated to have you all on board for this amazing event. I now request Vivek to brief you all about the club and its activities. Thank you all.
Thank you, Prithvi. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Vivek, a second-year student of Integrated MSc in Molecular Biology, Yuvaraja's College. I will be taking a few minutes to talk about our club. The Antibiotic Stewardship and Prevention of Infection in Communities Club is a student engagement initiative of REACT Asia Pacific. The objective of ASPIC Club's network is to promote a public cause and create social awareness among the community on antimicrobial resistance through different modes. The club's activities are coordinated by REACT Asia Pacific, headquartered at the Christian Medical College, Vellore, Tamil Nadu, which is a division of the REACT network stationed at the University of Uppsala, Sweden. This June, when one of us was scrolling Twitter, we found a post on the Student Research Champions for Antimicrobial Resistance, a competition for inviting the best research proposal on AMR organized by the ASPIC Club Network. A little dredge up, and we decided to get on board with the ASPIC Clubs Network, inaugurating the Yuvaraja's College chapter on 5th August this year virtually with a webinar by Dr. M.N. Sumana, Professor, Department of Microbiology, JSS Medical College, Mysuru, on the topic Antimicrobial Resistance, a Ticking Time Bomb. Unable to get going with any offline activities owing to the pandemic, we chose to have online activities instead. We had our first webinar on 6th October by Dr. Anuradha K on the topic, Can I help in the prevention of antimicrobial resistance? Following that, we organized a student poster competition on AMR successfully in October. Today, on the occasion of World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, we are here for yet another webinar by Vaidya.Professor T.R. Shantala Priyadrshini on Ayurveda, a strengthening key to lower sepsis and antibacterial resistance. I request Diksha Abbar to take over and introduce the speaker.
Thank you, Vivek. So a very good afternoon to one and all present here. Myself, Diksha Hebbar of 7th Sem Molecular Biology. It's my privilege to introduce our eminent and versatile speaker of the day, Vaidya.Professor T.R. Shantala Priyadrshini, who is a retired professor and head government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysuru, and retired joint director of Ayurveda, Yoga and Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy, abbreviated as Ayush, Training Center, Government of Karnataka. At present, she is the chief consultant at Dr. Vijaya's Ayurveda Research and Treatment Center, Rukmini Netra Chikitsalaya Ramahridaya Samrakshana Kendra. She completed her Bachelor of Ayurveda Medicine and Surgery from Government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysuru, and her post-graduation in Shalakya. To add her to her education on Ayurveda, she also did an MA in Sanskrit and MTech in Environmental Science and Technology. She has received research grants from Indo-USDBT and Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Science and mentored many students. She has extensive experience in the field of Ayurveda for the past 35 years at various levels as an active teaching faculty, clinician, and researcher. She is a member of the Association of Shalaki and has also served as the president of the association. She is also the honorary member of the British Association of Accredited Ayurveda Professionals. She is an active science communicator and has edified her knowledge and thoughts on health hygiene and created awareness to the public through local papers, radio, and television. She has written 3 books, including 1 book in Kannada, on total eye care for the public. Since 2010, she has made wide remarks onto various summits and webinars at an international level. She was an invitee to many prestigious places and conferences, including Maharshi Vedic University, Netherlands, Srimati Dr. Vasundhara Memorial at Defense Food Research Laboratory, Dr. Jayat Oration Series Talks, Southern University of Adelaide, Indo-Sri Lankan Conclave. She has also served as a reviewer on the editorial board of Arogya Sampad, Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine, and also an international journal +1. She is an active member of Central Council of Indian Medicine, nominated by Government of India, and National Executive Member for Health Policy and Home Remedy, Arogya Bharati, India National Executive Member Coordinator. She was an examiner for PG, UG, and PhD courses in several universities. So it's a great privilege to host an accomplished personality such as you today. We look forward to your talk for a fresh perspective on the topic. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks for such a beautiful introduction. Can I have my PPT, please?
Yes, ma'am. You can share your screen.
Entire screen. Share button. I'm not able to share my screen window.
There is a present now option there.
Yes, I got it.
So you can share your entire screen and open PPT. Yes, ma'am. It's visible. Your PowerPoint is visible.
Okay. Thanks a lot for having me amongst you. It's a great privilege for me because we have highly accomplished professors and faculty members and about to get or aiming to get Nobel Prize youngsters. So it is an honor to be talking to you about Ayurveda. So it is Sarve Santu Niramayaha. That means let all be healthy, as most of you know. So here is what you can see here is Nagarjuna, who has been doing a lot of work in ancient days. I'll be speaking about him too. So let us go into the subject. Why WHO declares antimicrobial resistance as a global threat? Because very soon antimicrobials stop responding, and that is how we develop microbial resistance. So it increases the risk of spread and it goes on to become severe illnesses and death. What is the cause? As you all know, is misuse, overuse, wrong use, which leads to resistance. Apart from that, it is not just that lack of clean water, inadequate infection prevention control, no sanitation, these spread the antimicrobial resistance. Then what happens because of that? What are the challenges that happen is there is a failure in economy, death, disability, hospital stay, everything increases, expensive medicines. These are the challenges. And then what happens because of that is effective antimicrobials enhances the risk of patients during surgery, cancer, chemotherapy or any chemotherapy treating infections. So multi-drug resistant, pan-drug resistant pathogens, what today is known as superbugs, is having a rapid global spread. It's a major concern. So WHO has in Sweden the head office who is dealing with all this, and apart from that, we have global microbial resistance and use surveillance system, in short known as GLASS. So new antibacterials are the urgent need for that. Superior methods, do we have any superior methods to prevent infection, keep the world healthier? So today we are going to think over these aspects. Antimicrobials, antibiotics, antivirals, antifungals, antiparasites. But Ayurveda is not against life. We don't have anything antibiotics. So it is everything to do with better life. It enhances tissue immunity. So we have a lot of solutions which we will be looking at in the later part of my discussion. Overprescription of antibiotics, even for very small ailments, if people go for antibiotics and then they are not able to finish off the antibiotic course, because of so many issues. And it could be overuse, wrong use, it could be used for the livestock, the fish farming, so many things. Then poor infection control in healthcare. Healthcare settings like hospital care or whatever, poor hygiene and sanitation. So let us go to, as the person who introduced was saying, this year we have antimicrobials handled with care. Always it should be handled with care. Apart from that, we all need to preserve, to be jointed, united to fight this global antimicrobial resistance. So what is it that we should do is select the right drug, right dose, right duration for the community, for the hospital, for the nation, for the individual. So is it possible to do that, or do we stop antibiotics and antimicrobials? So hygiene, harmony, healthcare, humanity are the keywords that we should really need to take a look at. Then, as you all know who he is, Leeuwenhoek, whom we all know as studied in our younger days. He was the person who started helping us to see microbial substances, microbes. But later on, we have Robert Koch, who has these postulates, but some of them might not be true today. The microorganism must be found in abundance in all organisms suffering from disease. Yes, but it will not be found in healthy organisms is not right. Organism must be isolated from a diseased organism and grown in pure culture. Yes, that's right. The cultured microorganisms should, when introduced into a healthy organism, should cause disease. That might not be true today because if your immunity is good, it might not cause disease. So we have postulates like this. Then we go to, everybody knows Fleming, Alexander Fleming. Do you know about the Alexander Fleming cat? I will tell you a little bit about it. When he identified how penicillin could be done, he said, I did not invent penicillin, nature did that. I only discovered it by accident. As you all know, you would have all studied about it, his petri dish, which is very favorite for most of you. Your day starts and ends with petri dishes. So here, when he thought he will inject it into a cat, the penicillin, he did inject it into a cat. And later on, before they could see what happened to the cat, people from the village came asking for penicillin. And that boy who was very sick was injected penicillin. Then what happened? The next day, the whole village came by, and then the boy was okay. He was healthy. He was recovered. He had recovered, but the cat had died. So this is the story about Fleming's cat. But we would have lost penicillin if we had looked at the cat before we could inject to the person. So penicillin created a miracle. Lots of disease were treated, lot of people got cured. So then Fleming, Flore and Chain in 1945 got the Nobel Prize. Here is something which when I am speaking about it, there might be many people who would be dreaming or aiming at getting a Nobel Prize. We wish more Indian scientists, youngsters like you will aim for Nobel Prize. So all the best. Then we have types of bacteria. Bacteria has been with us even before human beings could be there on Earth. Different types of microbials. So who had all contributed and who were all honored? You all know all these people. Robert Hooke, Leeuwenhoek, Louis Pasteur, Lister, Edward Jenner, Fleming. They were all honored, most of them were honored. So we will go to some simple things. So what is microbiology, which you all know? I will not be telling anything about it, but I will be telling you a little bit later on about Gnana Chakshu and Tapas Chakshu. Sukshma and Ati Sukshma Jivanu, about which Ayurveda has been speaking. So this was supposed to be the golden age of microbiology, 1857 to 1914. So you know all these people and what all they did. So I will not go into the details of this. But what is the situation today is like this. We are at a matter of time, we are looking at how resistance is developing, and like this buildings, it's all crumbling down. So we need to understand what is this microbial resistance. We need to improve the awareness and understanding of antimicrobial resistance. And thanks to your chapter, which is organizing these type of wonderful talks to create awareness. This is the most important thing, and it is possible to strengthen the knowledge through surveillance, research, and then if we can do that, then the incidence of infection can be reduced. Antimicrobial agents in all living beings can be optimized. We have all this to create diagnostic tools, vaccines. Then also we need to understand to effectively improve sanitation hygiene. We have national action plans, but that is not enough. Individual actions are also very much needed. So individual actions are possible and needed because the profound threat to human health is very, very important for us to understand. Let us not go against life because antibiotics are like that. But see, here is a picture which shows one capsule is not taken. So this should not be done. That is the intention of putting this picture. Then you all know this. I will not go into the detail of this. When penicillin was approved by FDA, then first resistance when it was reported. So it is again like this. We all think that antibiotics have won the war and it is the reign of antibiotics. But what happens is antibiotics become powerless, microbes become more powerful. What about viruses? Viricides, antiretroviral drugs. You have all been seeing what is happening with remdesivir because even today we are getting a lot of objections, no approval from WHO. So it is very important for us to keep ourselves updated because there are adverse effects. We don't want adverse effects. We want everything to be safe for everybody, every one of us. Sarve santu niramayaha. So Ayurveda is health for all. Here is the most important topics that we need to talk about is, did Ayurveda know microbes? Have they spoken about infectious conditions, spread of infection, control and prevention? Is Ayurveda scientific? Can it be of any value in antimicrobial resistance? Then surgery, emergency, infection prevention, control, maintain, cure. We have so many questions when we think about Ayurveda. Then here is something which I would like to speak about. Everybody knows it's traditional Indian medicine. Everybody knows some things, but some things which I would like to highlight here is it's personalized medicine, genetic individuality and more, prevention, preservation and promotion. Evidence-based since centuries. It is time-tested, simple, safe, effective measures. It is something like when God made man, user's manual for machine care called human being was given as Ayurveda. So we have what happens in the microcosm happens in the microcosm. Here is something back from history. At the Vedic age, 2nd millennium BC, Sushruta, Charaka were there. So we don't know how many thousands of years ago that was. By 1500 BC, Ayurveda was very well developed. You have something very important here. Chinese scholars attended Nalanda. We have not been good enough to preserve all these historical facts. Then we have all the Ayurvedic books translated into Arabic and other languages. We have more than 1 lakh of Ayurvedic manuscripts still in Wellcome Institute of History in UK. We have a lot of things lost, but whatever we have, we need to preserve it. And it's time to mainstream Ayurveda. It is not alternative medicine, it is mainstream medicine. So who had all contributed and forgotten? Let us give a brief look at this. Sushruta, this statue is found in Royal Australia College of Surgeons in Melbourne. We have very few statues like this in India, but there are in many other nations. We have Jainism in 599 BC, Buddhism in 265 BC. Dates are not very important, is what Indians thought, and it was not preserved. So we have all these people who have had lot of contribution given. So Charaka described not only microbes, he spoke about infection, he told us about different types of organisms, so on. I'll be telling you a little bit about this. So how did they see this? Did they have anything very superior? They were having tapaschakshu, gnanachakshu. That is what is also seen in our textbooks. Gnanachakshu and tapaschakshu, because they have shown that these are all sukshma, adrushya. Adrushya is invisible. Atyanta adrushya. Then microbes in ancient India. Krimi means that which attacks, infects, and spreads. So, duschikitsya means that is a challenge to manage. Even then, it was a challenge to manage because it is invisible. Invisible are more and visible are huge. You can see a lot of things, but invisible is, you can't just count it. It is countless. So we have these different types of names as to what these were called and how they were to look at this type of things. So battlefield, Ayurveda grew up patronized by in the battlefield. So it had to provide solutions. See, military medicine in Ayurveda, theranostics, diagnostics and therapeutics, both were done today. As today, it was done then, theranostics, 121 surgical instruments, more than 300 types of surgeries. So did they have antibiotics? Did they use antibiotics? Did they use painkillers? How did they manage? So these are many type of questions we need to answer. So Krumi, it is called as Sunama. Sunama means non-pathogenic. Durnama is pathogenic. Colonies of Krumi. Then in the Veda, in Atharva Veda 523, we have Atrideva, Kanva, Jamadagni, Agastya Brahma. All these people were known as microbiologists of ancient India. We know Leeuwenhoek, we know Lister, we know all the other people, but we don't know our own people because it was so long ago and it was Indians, so we did not know. So it is time that we understand who they were. So Sankramanti, Naran. From one person to other, it spreads. What spreads? Kushta, Jwarascha, Shoshascha, Netrabhishandayevacha, Aupasargika Rogascha, Sankramanti, Naran. Sushruta Nidana, it's a chapter and they have told about where all microbes cause conditions. These were the descriptions that were possible, that were seen in our books. So we chose what are all the organisms and how they look, and we found that how they could see it is still a question. So tapaschakshu is what we have to believe. So these were the descriptions that we have got in our books saying that the organisms were like this. And then they had mantra chikitsa for military medicine, obstetrics, Rakshogna mantra. I'll be telling you a little bit about that. Ayurveda classification of microbes. Morphology is sukshma, minute, ati sukshma, minute of the minute, drishya, adrishya, visible and the invisible, anu and vrutta, circular, padasya, with legs or extensions, apadascha, without any romascha, roma murdanya. So that is a description of how the organisms look like. Jantu matara. Jantu matara is one organism comes out because of staying in one more organism. It could be, there's speaking about virus. So how it goes from one person to another is given here. Prasangat, Gatra Samsparshat, Nishwasat, Sahabhojana, Sahashayyat, Vastramalyanulepanat. So, how we have been speaking about COVID today, this is the exact description of what should be done and what should not be done, and much more. So there is a huge list of infections that have been described in Ayurveda, and they have told what are the different types, how it happens. All types of rabies, they have told, herpes, they have told. The description goes on, and it is like an ocean. Microbes, understanding microbes is also an ocean, and that has been described similarly in Ayurveda. So we just have a brief look at how the organisms were to be removed. The removal of microbes by Panchakarma. Most of you would have heard about Panchakarma, Devamana, Virechana, etc. Detoxification, it is known as very popularly in the West. So enhancing immunity. So you need to enhance immunity, and then Prakriti Vigata, creating a hostile environment inside the patient and outside. So that is one other method to have to stop the microbes causing more problems. Hetu parivarjanameva chikitsa, prevention of infection. So here again, we see that Krumi Tantra. Krumi Tantra is techniques. It is principles and practices about microbes. Raktaja Krumi is something which I will tell you about. Blood vessels, it stays in blood vessels. It is, as I have already told you. So, say no to surgery. Can we say no to surgery? Can we say no to antibiotics? Here I will be sharing you few glimpses of what we have been doing. So here is Puya Lasaka. Puya is pus. So that which stagnates here is usually taken out using antibiotics, and it is drained, and then it is surgery is done. Whereas in Ayurveda we use leeches, we use different herbs. It is cost effective, safe, and no recurrence. We have been following up these type of cases for more than 6 years. So they don't develop antimicrobial resistance because we don't use any antimicrobials. So here is Roga Nirodha Shakti should be increased. Agnibala, we have all this. Swasthya, you have to be very healthy so that you don't need to take antibiotics. So these are cases which needed antibiotics, but we managed without antibiotics. Then here are fungal infections and bacterial infections, which Ayurveda speaks about in Vranakovida, Vranagandagna, Vranachintaka. These were the specialists and super specialists that were there in ancient days, and they have given exact description as to how it should be taken care of. Peptic ulcers, we have Udarada, Antrada, Dantada. These are the names that we have for all these organisms. Then we have Dushta Pratishaya, common cold, how it happens, from where it leads to what, Kasa, Shwasa, Rajayakshma. This is what is happening today. We have COVID, and then these are all the things that has been described in Ayurveda and how it manifests, how it should be taken care of. Then I will be dealing with a little bit of methods of dealing with this type of condition. So we say it is cost effective, it is time tested. So for the youngsters, Madhu is honey. Honey is recognized as Krimigna in Ayurveda. It is Yogavati, it is Rasayana. It is very helpful to improve the tissue immunity. So I will be quoting few examples of how methicillin-resistant staphylococcus laboratory experiments have been done. And then how even from JAMA and Lancet, I have quoted some examples of how honey has been used to act against multi-drug resistant bacteria. So this, if you just go through that, honey itself was used extensively in Ayurveda, not just to improve the taste, not just for non-diabetics. It was having a lot of value. So honey is something which can act as an antiviral, antibacterial, and you have antimicrobial effect of honey. So it is now we are speaking about antiviral cases wherein hepatitis B case which comes with seropositive becomes negative in less than 3 months, whereas Ayurveda can only give this. Here is herpes zoster, wherein we have applied leeches and patient has got very good results. This is panophthalmitis, where there is severe pain and problems. So you've been using all these type of methods. Bacterial conjunctivitis in a very small baby, like 6 months, 6 months baby. So he was like this, and we got very good results. Here is nodular episcleritis. We never prescribe any allopathic medication. We don't prescribe antibiotics. We don't prescribe antimicrobials. This has a lot of pain. This has, if you see, it will need, if any other person, any other system person deals with this, antibiotics, antimicrobials are definitely going to be used. But Ayurveda, you can give very good results with this. Fungal infection, very fast we can give very good results, early cures and no recurrence. So a patient will definitely prefer this. No antibiotics, no recurrence, no troubles. So this is something wherein patients are very happy in herpes and in fungal infections. A lot of patients do come to us, whereas infections, very severe infections, still patients do have some hesitation, but it is possible. So what are the holistic methods that we have been adopting is dinacharya. When to get up, you are working for an American company, so you wake up at 11 o'clock in the morning, because you have night duties. So these type of change in lifestyle. There is a lot of changes happening, and then naturally the body also, the circadian rhythm changes. It happens that patient's immune system also will go for a toss. So Rutucharya, according to the season, what happens? And then Sadgruta. You have to have some physical, mental, spiritual, every well-being is very important. You need to be swastha, a perfect healthy person. From more than 30 years, I have not used antibiotics, not any other medicine. So I have seen many people who have not used any antibiotics, antimicrobials at all. So it is possible. Then you have Rasayana, Nitya Rasayana, Vaidya Rasayana. You can be very healthy. I will tell you what are the benefits of Rasayana. Rasaukshadas are what were introduced in the later centuries. These are superior nanoparticles. It is known as the millennium medicine. So here again, we think about the Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti, Vata Prakriti, you would have heard about it. Because in the West, people come to us and say, I am Pitta Prakriti, my dose of Gratapana was this. Intelligence and creativity, brilliance of voice, charming looks and popularity, vitality, honor, experience of bliss. You have all this freedom from fear of old age, effect of rasayana. So, what is rasayana? Everybody will say Chavanaprash. Not microbial free is homotherapy, which we have been doing a lot of research on this with the coordination with KSOU, Professor Harsha sir, and Rajiv Gandhi University sanctioned funds for this. We have been doing research on 5 different types of homa, that is Vastu homa, Agnihotra, um, and five types of homas in different parts um, of Mysore, and we had the collaboration of a lab wherein we found out that microbes, fungus can be reduced, but the plants can grow very well in this atmosphere. So we also had been looking at whole scope. Um, DBT grant made it possible for us to see. So when we were speaking about microorganisms, we did take the help of whole scope. It's a $1 microscope, a paper microscope, which you can carry everywhere to see all this. It was a wonder for us to see and understand. Now I will be showing you one more. It's a neonate, 6 days baby. So we have been treating this case and no antibiotics, and here we got this condition. So definitely we can say no to antibiotics. This is all not only conjunctivitis; it is COVID conjunctivitis. Say no to surgery. I had already shown you this. Then the other things that we could adopt is yoga, all aspects of yoga. Being healthy is the best solution. If you're healthy, if you adopt all these things, then you won't need any antimicrobials. Then you don't bother about microbial resistance. Ayurveda also speaks about elephantiasis, malaria. You name that, we have it in Ayurveda. We speak about it in different terminology. So they are not aware what happens if they stop the antibiotics in between. So it is not only causing a lot of problems to themselves, but to humanity at large. So sanitation, education, medication, misconception, all these are the things that we are dealing with. Then physician related factors, inappropriate use of available drugs. One has to be very cautious as to what are the drugs available, what are the banned drugs, what are the drugs which should not be used, how they should be used. So, overuse of antimicrobials should definitely be stopped. So, lack of current knowledge and training is very important. So here, where it spreads is in intensive care units, oncology units, dialysis units, rehabilitation units, transplant units, burn units. So more than 2 million people, 23,000 people die because of drug-resistant infection mortality. One has to be very, very cautious as to how to do it. Because by 2050, very soon, 10 million people could die because of antimicrobial resistance. So here is what are the good pathogens known as Sunama and the pathogens which are Durnam. So holistic future solutions, we have to get Anjaneya to bring the Sanjeevani Parvata to create antimicrobial drugs which are not antimicrobial resistant. But it would still be a question. So Ayurveda plus yoga will be innovation and excellence. So we need to adopt a lot of things. So if that is possible, then it is fine. Why I have put this Veda mantra is, it is the last slide. Uh, Mantras are like ultrasonic waves. It has a lot of um, possible effects. So it is also very much spoken about in Ayurveda. So I would like to thank um, the or University, Mysore University, Yuvaraja College, and the chapter, Mysore chapter of ASPIC, and Devaki Madam, and all the professors who are here, and all the youngsters. So, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Yes, ma'am. So I request all audience to put their questions in the chat box so that it will be moderated to the speaker. And also feel free to unmute yourselves and interact with the speaker. We welcome that. So, ma'am, I have a question, ma'am.
Yes.
So, in your presentation, you showed so many cases where you haven't used antibiotics or antibiotics and treated with some Ayurvedic procedures. So, are those procedures or the system of medicine has been validated scientifically, like with the research and published in papers? And is that the case, or is it only in Ayurveda that people follow these kind of things?
That's a very important question. We have been publishing, we have seen a lot of people publishing all this. And apart from that, uh, evidence is like this has been, I have been taught by a 106-year-old guru who was doing all this and who taught me. Before that, he learned from many gurus. So this is known as Guru Parampara. We have been taught, we have been shown. See, this is what happens if you treat this case like this. So it is individually treated. It is not like everybody gets the same thing. Everybody cannot eat ice cream and feel the same joy. Everybody cannot feel the same effect. So similarly, you don't have COVID being treated to everybody with the same drug and cause the same problems. But if you can see what is that individual going to need, then you put that treatment and it is done. So here Ayurveda has principles and practices which have been there since long. So if you follow all the principles that are there, then it is possible to do it without causing harm to the patient.
I have a question from Pawan. He says,
Yes,
do you have any efforts to validate Ayurveda medicines using modern tools?
yes, we do that all the time because that is the need of the day. We have been using all the microscopic techniques or laboratory techniques, the latest technology wherein you validate whether they have MRI before treatment or after treatment, whether they have all the lab reports before and after treatment. We have been asked by the society to do that, so we do it and we have been publishing. All the cases that I have shown you in my presentation are published cases. So we don't speak about anything without what we have done. Our own experiences we have been sharing because I have been teaching for more than 27 years in the college and have been presenting everywhere. And people have questions, and it's always very important to have answers for all these questions. We see that these are possible to be treated. Here is here are some more questions. Oh yes, modern tools. Yes, we use some of the modern tools like ITBT, the chips we have been using, gene chips, so that we understand how different each person is. We have been associated with your college, Dr. Asha Madam, who was in Manasa Gangotri then in the fly bank. So we had been using these type of things also, different types of validating methodologies. You name any method, we do use that so that people get convinced that this is also scientific. It is scientific, but if you want people to be convinced, you need to validate it using modern tools. But there are limitations in using modern tools like you don't have ASPIC. You don't give the same medication to everybody and expect the same results. Sometimes we do vary the medications, but same methodology, same before and after treatment, the reports are being done. Any Ayurvedic treatments for hypersensitivity reactions. Definitely, hypersensitivity reactions do happen. So, even in Ayurveda, we have been speaking about iatrogenic conditions, iatroepidemic conditions, food allergies, anaphylactic shocks, everything. So, when we see that Ayurveda has been with us from ages, from centuries. So, if it was patronized by royal people, the kings, then there will be battle, there will be emergency, there will be surely a lot of heart attacks, bleeding, shocks, everything. So Ayurveda has Panchakarma, Ayurveda has Atyayika Chikitsa, which will deal with. Then we have Agata Tantra, which deals with all these conditions which are very important.
Thank you, ma'am. I can read the questions for you.
Sure.
Dr. Devaki NS has question. Our students, if they are interested, can you associate us for your efforts for validating involving the Prakriti and infection based on Prakritis?
Sure, why not? Definitely, they are more than welcome. We have been having PG students, we have other people also coming in for doing different types of research. So, Ayurveda students are also there, Ayurveda interns are there, Ayurveda PG students are there. So, your students can definitely join, and we will be more than willing to join with you.
Speaking in the same direction, ma'am, I request you to just direct our friends and us in the way of creating hypothesis related to the validation, related to the Ayurvedic preparations or something. What is our role as we are learning modern biotechnology and molecular biology? Like, if you could just elaborate on that, it would be helpful for us.
Yes, I have been talking with students in ISER. They have the BSMS courses. They have different biology courses, microbiology, all that. So it is not very difficult for us to coordinate and collaborate. But it would be much better if individually, if students come and they can tell us what is the. See, you have Prakriti, wherein you can just go and see what are the types of people who are getting cancer. What type of Prakriti people are getting? What is there any difference in their telomere size? So we can go to any level of understanding, not just Prakriti, biology also. It could also be taken over. It can be done. Here is um, how can AMR be encountered if Ayurvedic and allopathic
So, yes, ma'am. So again,
Hmm. And you have been speaking about Sweden. Sweden has got different types of
yes, ma'am.
mm, research being done. They have scholarships also. So you could talk about this. Sometimes, if my son was studying in Sweden, so if anybody is interested, I could tell you how you should go there, how you should go for further studies and all that. Apart from that, dealing with Ayurveda will be most welcome for you to come over, and we can have some questions, we can have some hypothesis, and we can see how to go about it. Surely you can have MOU on this so that both the Ayurveda Research Center, Dr. Abhijya's Ayurveda Research Center, and um, Mysore University can collaborate and do things. Do you have any other question?
I request audience if they have any questions to unmute themselves and have interaction.
Okay, AMR
We
and
have little time for that.
Oh. So molecular level of understanding in Ayurveda is completely different. We speak about Panchamahabhuta, we speak about, one day I will be showing you how we understand the molecular level of um, the Saptadhatu, the cells, everything. Because we have this uh, full scope, we have been able to see at what molecular level our acharyas have been understanding the cells. So that could be done, and we can do that. So we have Dr. Kiran also here. We have a lot of people whom I already know. So it is good we could have discussion, we could have MOUs and start working.
Ma'am,
Yes.
you mentioned while answering the question that certain type of, like you can check if certain type of cancer is based on like prakriti and like that. So is there like chances that certain prakriti people will get certain type of cancer?
It again depends on Pitta Prakriti people may get more cancer related to the digestive system, or people who are very sad all the time, who have lost something, who have been missing something in life, or how we also speak about how cancer can manifest because of constant irritation to that particular part of the body. So here are some of the things wherein we can understand the prakriti and uh, cancer, but it is not um, perfectly possible for us to do it, because we have to do it for thousands of cases to come to conclusion that these prakriti people only get this type of cancers. But it is definitely good to start with, because we have collaboration with Bharat Cancer Institute. We have already been sending students, so we can do that also. And Preeti Cancer Institute. We have two in Mysore. We have so many other options also. It need not be only Prakriti. It need not be only uh, cancer. It can be so many other things which we could think of to collaborate and do work. Quote.
Thank you, ma'am. If the audience have no questions left, we will move ahead with the concluding remarks.
Sure, sure.
So now I'll be delivering the concluding remarks. I'm Sachin, student president of ASPIC Club, Yuvaraja College. So first of all, at the outset, I thank Dr. Shantala Priyadrshini ma'am for agreeing to deliver this online lecture. And I also thank the support that we have been receiving from the ASPIC Clubs network. And also I am seeing that we have Dr. Philip Matthew, who is the consultant of React Asia Pacific, and also Vishal, who is also the a public consultant of React Asia Pacific, are with us. So I thank them. And also I would like to add a note on the present and future activities of this club. So we have plans of conducting offline activities, engaging common people and school children. But this pandemic has stopped us from doing so far for time being. So to be active, we thought of conducting some online events to make everyone understand the need for action to be taken right now against AMR. And to give the glimpse of I would like to just share my screen and show that for this, one second. I think you can all see my screen. So this is our Instagram page. We are very active on all the social media and started this series called an antimicrobial. So with this, we are posting information on individual antimicrobials, the cephalosporin, fluoroquinolones, vancomycin, and azole antifungal agents. So these are the 4 posts that have been, and the same thing is also being done on the Twitter page of our ASPIC Club. So I request you all to follow us so that you could get insights regarding the antimicrobials and its science behind that. And also, I would also make a note of our second event for Bird Antimicrobial Awareness Week, which is on 24th of November. That is the coming Tuesday. We have organized a conversation with the IGEM team, ISER Tirupati, they had made a project named Coli Kaze, which is the bioremediation of antimicrobials or antibiotics, which are present in the animal excreta. So that can be the wonderful session for the UG and PG students, because the ICER team had the undergraduate students who were involved in formulating this project and giving the proof of concept for that. So that would be a wonderful session for all the students, and I request you to join us for that session. I would be putting the details of that session on the chat box, so that please make a note of that. And also, as offline activities, we have plans to concentrate on healthcare workers and rural people in our awareness campaigns. And we are waiting for the end of COVID-19 and the lockdown or the starting of schools and colleges, so that we can engage more and more high school students and the higher primary students, and also put some of these resources in our local language, that is Kannada, and also spread the knowledge in the non-science and common people about antimicrobial resistance. I hope we remain active and work in line with the ASPIC Clubs network and its associate WAAW Asia Pacific, through its continuous support, and also with the encouragement and the involvement of the proactive students of Department of Molecular Biology and also Yuvaraja's College, Mysore. So now I would also paste the social media handles of us, so that you can go ahead and follow us on the social media. And now I request the next person to take over for the vote of thanks. Thank you all.
A very warm and graceful afternoon to everyone. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks and acknowledge the contributions of everyone who helped us organize this event successfully. I, on behalf of the Molecular Biology Department and entire fraternity of the institution, extend my sincere gratitude to Vaidya.Professor T.R. Shantala Priyadrshini for gracing the event despite her busy schedule. Thank you, ma'am, for inspiring and enlightening us with your words. A special mention to our beloved course coordinator, Dr. N.S. Devaki, for being the catalyst that stimulates us to do our best and for standing as a pillar of constant strength and support. Thank you, ma'am, for your untiring efforts and motivation. I would also like to thank Dr. Philip Matthew, Vishal Philip, and other members of the ASPIC Club Network for joining us today. I would also like to thank the ASPIC Club Coordination Center, Tiruvalla, Kerala, for providing us a platform for conducting such events and for supporting us through all our endeavors. An event like this cannot happen overnight. It requires planning and preparation. We have been fortunate enough to be backed up by a team of very motivated and dedicated students and teachers of the Department of Molecular Biology. I would like to thank all of them who worked behind the scene to make this webinar a successful one. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants who attended this meet. It has been our honor to host all the members and audience of today's webinar. Without participants, it is impossible for an event to be successful, and your presence inspires us to organize more and more of such events. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
A request to all, the feedback, a link for the feedback form is put on the chat box. So that is the same link for for providing e-certificates also. So I request you all to fill the feedback form. So a day or 2 days later, the certificates will be mailed to you all. And also a note to put the proper email IDs where you need your certificates to be mailed in the feedback form.